All right, let's go. Day number 14 of this vlog series, and today we will be talking about selling online. And the main question is, what's best to sell online? And let's look at two different types of things that you can sell online. And I've touched on this on the previous day, but now let's be more specific and actually give some examples. So let's think of physical products and digital products because they are totally different. You sell to different markets, you sell in different ways, and they do have a much different type of longevity, I would say. So if you are into the online marketing space, you've probably heard of Imangazi, and he's a guy that was able to make it and also document it. That's probably the reasons why, the main reason I would say why he's known, and he's given as an example many times because he's actually put in the work to document everything. He's also done it in a very strategical way, but he basically started as almost everyone should in most cases if they want to have success almost guaranteed. And that is first by learning on other people's money. And I will mainly talk about advertising, of course, because advertising more or less drives the entire world. Look at Google, look at Meta. Basically, the two of them together are the biggest company in the world if you would combine them, right? And their business model is advertising. So let's look really quick at physical products and digital products, because physical products, they are much harder to get going, and also they are better long term. And that's because think of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and things that you actually put in your mouth, right? Because those things you actually have to do it again and again, right? It's like a subscription. Although you're not subscribed to Coke, to Pepsi, to chocolate, right? You buy it again and again and you consume it. So that's why physical products long term are amazing, are great. And also because like someone who eats that, like they don't care what you have to say, like as a person, right? Like you don't know who the CEO of Coca-Cola is right now. Like you don't even know their investors, right? Like almost everyone is actually an investor if they own S&P 500. But you don't really care, right? It's just about the brand. And the brand is not a person. So it comes with some advantages. The fact that it's something faceless, so you don't really care about anything else except how it makes you feel. And it depends mainly on their ads, but also on the taste, right? That's why there was also a taste between Coke and Pepsi, but we won't get into that type of history and stuff. And the main thing that I want to point out is that it is easier to start making money online by actually selling those products as a marketer, right? So personally, that's what I do. Like I promote physical products in most cases because there are so many e-commerce brands out there, especially new industries like, let's say, non-gluten or low carb or non-alcoholic. There are so many that are growing right now, and there's enough room. Like if you're in a domain that's growing, you will grow. You don't even have to do any kind of magic tricks. However, the margins are lower, meaning that it actually costs you to make that product, right? So that's why I don't recommend actually making your own product, especially in the beginning, because you don't have the money, you don't have the experience. But if you actually promote a physical product for someone else who already made a product, who already has some kind of success, right? Like even myself, I can't work with any brand almost that hasn't already made a few sales or hasn't advertised, because you're just starting from ground zero, right? And like it's just like wanting to have a baby, right? Like that's why not so many people want nowadays to have a baby. It's not easy, right? You start from ground zero. And then let's look at digital products, right? Because I think we're halfway through this video. Then let's look at digital products because the margin there is high, right? Like You sell a $500 course, let's say, right? Although courses aren't as popular anymore, it's more so community nowadays. But thing like this, in most cases, you will sell the course, right? However, how many of those people will buy again, right? Like you sell once, you give a course, you give everything that you have, just like with a book, and then, at least back in the day, you had not much else to give. Like same with Iman, he had to release course after course after course, which it was more or less the same. It was like, I don't know, agency navigator 2.0, something like that, and then it was some kind of upsell, and this is where the coaching came into the whole picture, I would say, not just in this example, but overall, because you're just hand holding people, right? So, but think of it like this. First, you need all of that attention, and that's the problem here. Because you need attention, you need trust, and people won't really give you as easily $500 or 5K, right? 3K, but they will try out a new product for like $10, $20, $50, right? Or even buying as a gift, right? Like even myself, I do buy random gifts sometimes, just because I don't know, maybe it will have some value, you know. Like even for myself, I buy some productivity stuff here and there, hoping that they will have an effect, right? Like, I don't know, maybe a pen that I will use more, and because of that pen being used more, I will write more, learn more, make more money, so on, right? So different ways of thinking. But that's the main difference between the two. With physical products, it is easier to get a customer, but then you also make less money, right, per customer, at least in the beginning, for one sale. However, in the digital world, like you take more or less the entire chunk of money. You sell a course for $500, maybe let's say you pay the hosting platform, something like that, but still, like if you make 5K because you're selling, I don't know, 10 courses, communities, so on, then yeah, you're still making, I think that's 90% margin. Yeah, if you make 5K and then pay 500 for the platform, it's like 90% margin, right? But then it depends how you acquire that customer. Like, do you have to advertise? In most cases, hard to say. That's why it's actually easier to start with physical products, because people are convinced easier to buy something that's lower value. However, you would make money in this industry by actually offering the service to a business that sells a physical products, right? So that's why personally I offer services for Facebook ads, Google ads, paid ads, business growth strategy, and in general for Shopify stores. And yeah, there's enough room. Like I'm seeing inefficiencies all the time, even for brands that are spending 100K, 200K. Like I can take a look, I can audit their account, and easily I can save them 5K or 10K. So would they be willing to pay me 3 or 4 or 5K or more, depending on how much I can save them? Sure, they will. So that's why it's important to understand the difference, right? I think it's just different times that you need to focus on different things, right? For example, let's look at Iman, and let's look why that is probably one of the best approaches. Basically, making money by selling a service, a high ticket service, right? I've talked about high ticket in a previous video. You can look back on YouTube. And then that money that you make 50K, 100K, you just stack money, right, over time. And then that money you can actually put into, let's say, automating to some extent your agency, so you spend less time there, but then also building a brand outside of it, either a personal brand or a physical product brand. Like look at Iman, let's come back to this example. He made enough money with digital products and so on, and then he launched, and actually he did this at the same time, but he launched a clothing line, if I'm not mistaken, eyewear, and more recently, I know, an energy drink, right? Because with an energy drink, you pretty much, actually no, sorry, not an energy drink, I think it's an electrolyte drink. So yeah, think of it. Energy drink you might need when you actually need energy, let's say. But an electrolyte drink, well, pretty much every day. Like you need electrolytes every day. And that's why the supplement industry is so competitive, because almost everyone wants to take your taste, your daily habit, right? Because think of it like this: everyone wants to make as much money as possible, right? Then how can you make the most money? Well, basically by selling again and again to the same people. So I would say that's about it for this day. And which is better? It depends. It depends on your time and what you want to do. But let's end it here and let's chat tomorrow when we'll talk more about Facebook ads again, probably.